Sauti Contact Center is a multi-channel contact center with expert agents set up to provide your customers with an excellent experience. We save you money and time, enabling you to focus on other critical parts of your business, whether it's receiving and making calls, web chat, WhatsApp support. We help your business generate leads, increase sales, and improve the customer experience. Visit us online at sauti.cc and we look forward to serving you.
Welcome to Breaking Limitations Show with our host, Joyce Melendez. We are here to empower, equip, and promote. Let us discover your superpower.
Hi, and welcome to the Breaking Limitations Show. My name is Joyce Melendez, and I am your host here on today. If you are just joining us, we want to encourage you to go ahead and share this session. We're going to be talking about money today. So I am really excited. I have some exciting guests who are here with us, who are passionate about money. So I want you to take a few minutes to just go ahead and share this video. Go ahead and share with your friends, share on your walls so that we can be able to make sure we have enough people who will be able to get this opportunity. And of course, if you'll be watching it on replay, I want you to also know we also have it live on YouTube. And so go ahead and just share it at this time. So I have really missed you guys. I haven't been here in a while. It's been forever, but this is the first show I'm having this year. So other than just having a little bit of little Facebook lives here and there, this is the first show I'm having, and I'm just really excited to be here. And most of all, I'm excited about the topic we're going to be talking about, which is let's talk about money. I know there are so many things that we believe about money. Everybody is looking for money in this season, in this time. Money is like a big deal right now. So I brought some ladies here who we are going to share together on what and just talk about money. And so if you have any questions about money, I want to encourage you to go ahead and post those questions in the chat. Make sure you allow StreamYard to be able to have access to your information so that you can be able to post a question. And then also we are on YouTube. You can also post your questions on YouTube, and we do have someone also on YouTube who's watching that for us. So we'll be able to answer all your questions. But I want to encourage you to bring all your questions about money right on this session, because we're going to be talking about money. So I'll go ahead and I'll introduce my guests. I'll bring my guests in and I'll go ahead and introduce them, and then we'll be able to enjoy the session together. So I have Tracy Valero. Tracy Valero. Hey, Tracy, how are you?
Hey, y'all. Good. How's everybody doing tonight?
Good. So good to see you. So good to have you here. I'm excited to have you on the Breaking Limitations Show. And I'm just excited to see, to learn from you. I know you have wealth of information, and I know that it's just going to be amazing. So guys, let me tell you a little bit about Tracy. I know she's gorgeous, but let me just tell you a little bit about her too. She has a very interesting background. So Tracy grew up in Texas and is a true country girl. Tracy began riding horses at the age of 3 and competing in barrel racing at a local rodeo shortly after. She received her Rodeo Cowboy Professional Rodeo card at age 16 with her beautiful horse Sport. Along with being a barrel race, she earned the title of Rodeo Queen in several towns around Texas. Tracy has continued her education to better serve her clients by earning multiple licenses, a chartered retirement planning counselor designation, and a certified plan fiduciary designation. She now has 18 years of financial services experience. She looks 18 and yet she has 18 years of experience. Wow.
I wish that were true.
And then throughout her career, she has gained extensive knowledge of the financial industry. Tracy found her passion as a financial advisor, where she has been able to provide guidance to clients and was lucky enough to start her own firm, Sapphire Investments Services, a few years ago. So welcome to the Breaking Limitations Show. We are so excited to have you here and just to get to learn from you and to hear all the things that you're doing in the financial industry.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
Yes, thank you. And the next person we have is Lena. So some of you know Lena, you've heard of Lena. We've seen her in doing some amazing things in the Minnesota area. And I love a quote that Lena has. She says, if your presence does not create an impact, your absence will not make a difference. So Lena is an award-winning healthcare provider who is now a wealth care provider. Well, I love that. Guiding people to see and put value in themselves and their loved ones by making informed financial and health decisions so they can break generational curses, achieve peace of mind, and build generational wealth. Throughout her 20 years as a registered nurse, professor, tireless mentor, master certified professional coach, and highly sought after keynote speaker, Lena applies a cultural humility approach to serve, educate, and empower others to build a culture of belonging. She is the former administrative manager of Large Minnesota Trauma Hospital, founder and president of the African Nurses Network, Inc., current CEO of Bold Impact Group, LLC. She is earned the classic ring with multiple diamonds as a proud American Classic agency in Maryland. Lena holds a Master's of Education in Leadership from Concordia University, an MBA from St. Thomas University, and a Bachelor's of Nursing from Metropolitan State University. So Lena was born and raised in Kenya and currently lives in New Hope, Minnesota with her beautiful family. Wow. Ladies, welcome to the Breaking Limitations Show. It's so good to have you all.
Thank you. We didn't have to read all of that, but thank you.
No. You know why? I had to make sure I read about that because we're going to be talking about money. And when you talk about money, sometimes we are so used to seeing men teach about money. And so I want people to know that there are some women out there who can also teach on wealth. They can teach on money. And most of all, I want them to know that you're not just pretty faces, you know? Because unfortunately, that's how sometimes when people see a pretty woman, they don't really think that you can be able to have that talk about finances, or you know much about finances. They just assume that, oh, she's just pretty, look pretty and stay over there looking pretty. But I want them to know that you have what it takes, you know what you're doing. And that's why we are here.
And I do love being able to tell people I actually truly am smarter than I look.
I know, and you know what? You're showing the world you can be a rodeo princess and still know how to manage money. And do you have your crown with you?
I do not have. You should have told me. I would have brought it. Next show, okay? I'll wear it.
Yes. I know, that is so funny, but that's true. So that's why it's so important for us to be able to just let people know that, that when we're talking about money, it doesn't have to just be men. There are women who know about money, women who know how to handle money. And so that's the topic we're going to have today. And so, we're gonna start just with some, just if you could tell us a little bit about yourself. So we can start with you, Tracy. Just tell us a little bit about yourself. How did you even stumble into this financial world?
So actually, right out of school, I went into banking and really enjoyed it. So I was fortunate enough to step right into a construction lending program and had a ton of fun with it because I felt like I got to be in control because I got to do draws and decide that projects were complete enough to actually pay the builders. So went from there to just staying in the bank, working in the bank until 2010. Actually, started getting licensed to become a financial advisor. And that's when I truly found my passion because just really being able to do holistic financial plans and let people know that you can make some little changes along the way and you get to live the rest of your life comfortable in retirement and not have to worry about the volatility we're seeing in the market right now. My clients are okay because we have planned for the long term. So that's truly my passion. And I'm lucky enough to have a truly amazing book of clients that are my friends and I love them. And just it's a two-way street. They brighten my day. I think that I brighten theirs. And I can't imagine ever doing anything else. And even I can't even imagine retiring myself because I think that I love what I do, and not everybody gets to say that. So I can't imagine stopping. But ask me in 20 years, okay? I may change my mind.
You'll be in your own island somewhere, so that's
Maybe.
yes, retiring gracefully. Wow, that's so awesome. So good to hear that. And Lena, if you could just go ahead and just tell us a little bit about you. How did you bump into the financial world?
So it's funny that Tracy and I met just a few minutes ago, but I am a believer in the spirit of discernment and alignment. And right away, we're in different sectors of the financial world, yet there's a lot of connection because of the approach that we take. She's a people person, she has a different background, but funny enough, she's very well experienced in the financial world, unlike me, which you're about to learn that and I love what Amy said earlier about the diversity and inclusion or the gender gap in the financial world. 46% are women. So it's exciting that you thought of us. It's exciting that we need to make our faces known for our girls and friends and everybody coming up. So having said that, I was raised in Kenya. My mom was a teacher. So whenever insurance people came to her school, because those days, Miss Amy, if you remember Alico, Allianz, all those insurance companies we grew up with as young girls in Kenya, whenever they came to my mom's school to teach them about insurance or to share whatever products they have, my mom and our colleagues, they would take off through another door through the staff room because wale wakora wamekuja. In other words, for Miss Tracy and the rest of them, it's that those con people have come back again. So there was always this narrative that they were afraid of the insurance people because they didn't understand. They saw them as fraudulent or fake or a scam. So I grew up with that perception and that narrative to think, oh, it's not a good thing. It doesn't help. And then, of course, I grew up in a very community oriented space where if someone died, you scream across the river, people come, they help, they raise the community and they bury. But that is not the same in the world that we are growing up in. Miss Joyce and myself, we are raising our children because we are thousands of miles away from that village, that community as immigrants. But also we are tasked because now that we know more, or when we know better, we do better. So what had happened was, I've been a nurse for 20 some years. And those of you who may remember, I do a lot of community public health forums in the community, whether we are teaching about health or things like that. I happened to be at an event a few years ago, and there was a lady speaking about financial resources, but there was a lot of people grumbling about WhatsApp groups and fundraisings and how many matangas, like in other words, how many funeral meetings are we going to tonight? And one of the ladies at the event tasked me and said, Lena, what if there was something sustainable? Because clearly this is not sustainable. I didn't know much. I didn't know what I was getting into. But at that meeting is when I thought to myself, if I've done so much education and so many certifications already, why can I not learn more? that is when I reached out to someone and learned about insurance and became a licensed person. But then I pushed it a little bit to do more financial education, kind of like Miss Tracy, to learn about what is in the financial world. Is it just insurance? Is it banking? Is it investments? Is it wealth management? Is it stocks? What is in mutual funds? What's in, all of these things in the umbrella, to be like, okay, how can this serve me and my community? So we are not only just living paycheck to paycheck, but also planning for the future. Because you know very well that the studies just came out that said that 49% of the United States population, 50 to 60%, 50 to 60 years old, they're not ready for retirement. That's a bit scary.
I see it all the time, Lena.
So that is Lena for you. And thank you for having me, Miss Amy. Thank you for thinking of us.
Yes, and I am just excited, excited, excited. I love educating people, or I love to be educated. So even for me, I'm in the health insurance industry, and what I find is, just from from my background and everything, I've found that there are a lot of people, especially Texas. Texas has the highest number of uninsured people in the US. We have a
Wow.
lot of people who are uninsured, and that's because either they just feel like they don't need it, especially when they're healthy. They feel like, I'm just throwing away money. And even someone told me that today, that they know they need insurance, but they just feel like they're throwing away money because they're always healthy, so they don't need to have it. And I told her, if you have insurance on your car for 10 years, then when you get that accident on the 11th year, the insurance will be able to cover that. And so it's the same thing with your health. You might be healthy for several years, but a time might come when something might happen and you'll need that insurance, and you don't want that to bankrupt you. And also, studies show that like 66% of the people who file for bankruptcy, it's due to medical reasons, and they had health insurance. So it's not like they didn't have health insurance. They had health insurance, but the way it was, but they just didn't have enough money to sustain them. So the insurance paid for the hospital and everything, but they still didn't have money to live on. And so some of the things we do is we package our health insurance in a way that it can also help you in case of something, if something like that was to happen, then it won't bankrupt you. There'll be money paid to you, money paid to the insurance company, and stuff like that. And so I like to let people know what is out there. They can make their own decisions, but they'll make their decisions based on knowledge and not just what someone told them or what they're used to hearing. So, and that's why I even have this forum here on today. I just want people to get the information. They can watch it on YouTube, watch it on Facebook, and they can make their own decisions to decide how they want to handle their money or handle their life, but at least they got the information. So that's why we are here. And I am just excited to have you ladies here. And so one of the questions that I wanted to ask is about the different myths that we hear about money. So if you can just tell us a little bit, Tracy, what are some of the myths that we hear about money?
Actually, I try to do a weekly education piece as well. And last week was about sell in May and go away. Okay, so May through January is typically, historically, a lower 6-month period for returns in the market, but it's still a return. Okay, on average, if you look back, for the last 15, 20 years, then there's still a return. It's just not as significant as you may see in the other 6 months of the year. So this actually started, I want to say, in London, and it just kind of has manifested from there. And so it is not, y'all, sell in May and do not go away. Okay, so that's my myth for right now.
I love that. So
Yes.
I think it's so funny because I think all of you can agree that we kind of were raised with the myths of like money is the root of all evil, right? So that is the biggest and most universal in a lot of communities, because I think majority of the world is kind of that Christian background. So we kind of have that umbrella of money is the root of all evil. I would like to change people's minds or ask them to think about that and reflect on truly what that means, because lack of money, maybe lack of money, is the root of all evil. Because if you have money and you have a sick parent or a sick relative or a sick child, or you're sick yourself, that's what allows you, like Miss Amy made it clearly, that you will not need to file bankruptcy. You will pay for that treatment. You will seek second opinions. You will seek alternative care. You will pay for that loved ones that is ailing in another part of the country, because money enables you to do that. Money is the same reason that we don't work all the time, because you don't work to earn money. You really work to buy freedom, because that money allows you to be able to sit with your children or visit another part of the world, to give you the experience. So money is the root of all evil. That needs to go away. That's the worst myth that kind of puts us in that scarcity mindset. We need money so that we can experience life, take care of our families, enjoy different places, and really truly bless others through charity or giving, if you have that extra. And then, of course, another thing that I hear all the time is like what Tracy said of like, well, I don't need that. Or, I'm not ready for that. I'm 25. I don't need to worry about retirement. Or I'm 24. I'm not going to die. I don't need insurance. Or, why should I worry about that? I have a young family to raise. I'm not going to throw away my money, like Miss Amy said. So really one of those things, you think you don't need it, but the reason you plan is not because you need it. It's because of the times that it's going to come, that you are not, the unexpected or the uncertainty that happens in your lifetime. So, and then another reason that I see all the time is, especially with insurance, which probably Miss Joyce can agree with myself, is a lot of people say it's costly. I think it was a study that came out, either Investor or CNBC, that was talking about millennials saying that they think that insurance costs 5 times the amount it actually costs. So there's a disconnect in the actual and what they assume. But again, you can't blame us. I always say extend grace, because you and I know what kind of cultural beliefs we've grown up with that have kind of deterred us from that growth. So, and then of course, the biblical one, that the big one of the audience that I serve, or the people that I serve, is that you are putting your faith in money. You're putting your faith in a future retirement. You're putting your faith in insurance. You're putting your faith in this thing. Well, God takes care of you. And I would like to throw an African proverb in there and remind you that you cannot walk into danger expecting miracles. You have wisdom, you have discernment, and you have all this knowledge that we're about to pour for you, so that you can make informed decisions that are going to help you to plan and then live, so that you're not just surviving every day, but actually thriving. So there are so many, but all of them, there's always facts and numbers, and actually to prove it, because data does not lie.
I know, right? That is so true. Data does not lie. Yeah, but there's so many myths out there and so many beliefs, and it just also depends on the background of people's backgrounds, how you were raised, affects how you view money, how you view insurance, and things like that. And so it's the only way we can be able to change those mindsets is through education. Because I know even for me, there was a time it never even crossed my mind. Like, of all the things I would want to pay for or buy, it didn't occur to me that, oh, you having insurance is important. Making sure that you make your plans of how you're gonna exit this world is important, because it was never taught growing up. But now that we know better, we do better, we share the wealth and the knowledge, so that we can be able to recruit as many people to our side.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited. I'm excited about we just have all these different backgrounds, and we're able to look at things from different angles, because sometimes you can just look at things from one way. But I'm excited that we have so many different, we have diversity. We can be able to look at things from different backgrounds. So some of the questions, because I've been asking people some money questions and investment questions, and so some of the questions that people and actually, because this will be our first session, but we're going to do another session, because there are so many questions that we first need to start baby steps. Because a lot of people, let's say people lost their jobs, or people have left corporate America because they just want to have a different life. They no longer want to work the way they used to work before. And so now they find themselves in a place where they were so used to getting so many different things from their employer, but now they have to make those decisions, but they don't have the knowledge. And so one of the things I've found, especially for women, It's just that it's not even that we don't have the capacity to get the knowledge. We're just tired. We have so many other things to focus on. And so we like money is never in our radar, because maybe if you're running to pick up the kids and then you have to do this and then you have to do this, by the time the day is over, you're done, you're tired. So you almost outsource that responsibility to someone else. So if you're married, you outsource that to someone else. And I know, Tracy, you've seen different ways. You have different clients who different things have happened to them. What would you say about that, like the importance of women understanding money?
You really set this up perfectly, and it's amazing because we didn't even talk about this, but
Mhm.
that is what I see, y'all, and it's 2022, and still 9 times out of 10, if I have a husband and a wife coming in, the husband is the one handling the assets, the family assets. Even if it's the wife's retirement portfolio, the husband knows what's going on. He's the one that typically has the spreadsheet and knows what the bills are. And you know, if that's the dynamic of your family, then that's fine. But ladies, come on, you have to know where things are. You have to know where to find the spreadsheet that they have, because I do see it. And number one, as a lot of us know, marriages are not guaranteed. Okay. So it's a two-way door that either one of you could possibly walk out at any time. So don't
Mhm.
let yourself be set up to be left high and dry. Second of all, life is not guaranteed. So even if you have this perfectly sound marriage and you make it through for literally the rest of one of your lives, well, make sure that you know where things are, because these things are not traceable by your social security number or
Mhm.
anything. You have to know where your assets are. Otherwise, they would just be sitting out there until at some point you get a letter in the mail, hopefully, that you have to claim your reward, and you don't even know if it's true. Or
Mhm.
so
Yeah.
just educate yourself and
Mhm.
know where your assets are. Even if as she said, even if you want to delegate it and it's not something you want to take lead on, that's fine, and I understand, but you have to know where it's at.
Yes, that is so important, because I have my background is in HR, and I cannot tell you, we've had people who things have happened to their spouses, and they're trying to they call HR trying to figure out, okay, so what is there, or what benefit do we have, or is there anything left? And that used to be so, it was so heartbreaking, because sometimes there's nothing, or sometimes there's all these different things, and they have to go bring all these different documents that they don't know where they are, or they have to, it's just so, it can become so stressful. And I know some people actually gave up on the process, because companies have to have a process, like we need this document, and we need this document, we need this proof. If you're a new wife, maybe someone divorced and remarried, we need to figure out, okay, we need that new, we need it just became very complicated. And so one of the things we have, especially in our culture, is people don't like to talk about death, because they feel like that's like bad luck. And so when you talk about, they try to avoid that topic, even though maybe someone has questions about it, like, okay, in case of death, what do we do? But when you talk about like that, then you're blamed, like, are you trying to kill me? Are you trying to it's
Okay.
not a conversation that you can have without getting a backlash, because sometimes that's just different mindsets, and
Right.
they don't think that it's important to have a plan, or have to things somewhere where someone can be able to find them in case of anything. And so we've seen we've seen a lot of things. But I think, even as ladies, just for us to be able to be empowered, to know where things are, know what you have, and how you can have access to it, so that you can be, so that you're not lost if anything happens. Because it's such a disaster if you're already grieving, and then now you have to worry about this other part of things. You don't know where things are, you don't have all these different documents, so you don't have this password on all. It's just, and I saw it so many times when I was working till I was like, oh Lord, we have to educate and educate. So, and Lena, what do you have? I know you have a wealth of.
No, you guys have shared beautifully, but I would just top it with this because I don't want to be redundant. But I would agree 100% with what Tracy and yourself have mentioned. But I think from your initial question, it was about what do you say to people that claim they do not have time? I am a believer that you're going to make time for priority, like straight up. There's really nothing there around it. But also, I am a believer that ignorance is acceptable, but you have an obligation and a responsibility to learn. When you don't know, you don't know. But is that it? We have to know. We have to seek knowledge. I love what you commented about people reaching out to HR or people looking online and people trying to find information here and there. And with the social media kind of wave, there's a plethora of information everywhere, but there's also a lot of misinformation, which brings me back to exactly why we are here. We are licensed and qualified to share knowledge that you cannot find online or that you cannot claim you do not have time for. Guess what? The reason we are here is to save you time. So you don't have to go read with exclusions and inclusions and what's not there and what's good for you or what's the market doing. Like Tracy said, well, what should I do then that is market protected? What is going to save me money? I have so many few years to retirement. And if I have this much long, what's the best solution? So I'm not stressing, I can use my money wisely. Really, the only reason I say that is every person has knowledge, but every person might be limited in that knowledge in a specific area. I am a believer that if you need services from heart surgery, you're not going to go to a kidney doctor or a chiropractor for that. And I've spoken to my students about these as well. I grew up as a cardiac nurse for 12 years. Ask me anything cardiac, I got you. Open heart surgery, I got you. But if you ask me anything about NICU, like those little humans, or psych to try and say something, please excuse me, you're putting me in a traumatic state and I'm very ignorant right now. That's exactly what I say in the financial world. If you need to learn about insurance, call me. If you need to learn about life insurance, I am here to share what I know so I can show you what types are there, what things are there, and then that way you make an informed decision. The same thing that Miss Tracy said. You trying to figure out, should I invest in this? Okay, should my portfolio look like? Asset here and that asset here, but recognize that not having time is really normal. However, you not making a solution or finding an option or an alternative to help you plan is really your fault. And another thing I would mention is like, don't be shocked by death, because at some point we are all going to die. I mean, I know that we come from a community or a culture that does not like to discuss death. But guess what? When someone dies, the first question they ask, did they have life insurance? And they didn't want to talk about it. So I think it's important for us to try and normalize things that are usually uncomfortable, because yes, our parents may not have used it, but now we are here and we're going to teach the best we know how. So I would say, go to the right resource, because that is who's going to guide you in the right way. Because most of the time I was listening to a friend of mine, and the reason I bring this up, a friend of mine was talking about, oh, don't get insurance, that's throwing away money, put it in a different vehicle because that's not going to help you. Well, first of all, they're not an insurance agent. Number two, it's almost like, well, why don't you give them alternatives instead of bashing something? So what I always say is like, be careful when a shirtless man offers you a shirt, right? Be careful with when a naked person offers you a shirt. That's another African proverb. If someone is not qualified to be a financial advisor, you have no business seeking advice from them. If someone is not qualified to tell you what a indexed universal life cash value insurance does for you as an asset, when Bank of America has 24 billion of life insurance, Bank of America, I want to repeat the numbers for you. Bank of America has 24 billion of life insurance cash value as an asset. If you bank with US Bank, that's 6 billion for you. If you bank with Chase Bank, that's about, I think, 13 billion. If you bank with Wells Fargo, the mogul, it's 20 billion. If a bank understands the value of life insurance as an asset, who are you to criticize about your $100 a month? And really, when in reality, that $100 a month can buy you a policy that gives you that 100,000 for your family, so they don't have to go fund me when they need to be grieving for you. So I say that to say that The reason Miss Amy brought us here is to show you just kind of an introduction of what's possible for you when it comes to money, but to show you that there's so many vehicles and so many tools. Even just recognizing, like Miss Tracy said, if you're not ready for retirement and all you have is like 10 years, you're like 55 or something, and you have nothing. Do you realize compound interest from an index plan or an annuity can throw you in that space of safety without really exposing your money to the market? On the stocks are in the toilet right now, things are tanking, but your money is constantly protected. So really challenging those who are watching and those who will be watching later. Learn the tools to use to get you the help you need so that you're not stranded or left alone.
Yes. Wow. That's really, really awesome. And Tracy, did you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, I was just going to say that some of the policies that Lena's talking about actually not only will they protect you should death occur, but there are vehicles that can help you actually control your tax bracket in retirement. So,
and now that
Yeah.
I love that she's challenging me to say that. I didn't know I needed to go into depth to that, but those policies really, truly, those plans, because Tracy's a planner. Her job is to show you this is what's possible, this is what it's going to do for you, and this is what's safest for you right now. Or if you're a risk taker, conservative, let's understand your moderation and figure out who you are. But I think being client focused, just like her, I will tell you this. There are so many policies, and I think, Amy, I was laughing at your post maybe a week ago when you shared about a man who was standing way at the top on a ladder, no helmet, no security, no crane, nothing, and he's waiting to basically fall and die. So, well, if he doesn't die, he will have a traumatic brain injury. Guess what? Those policies, they have what they call living benefits, and critical injury is one of the things that is actually covered by that. If you think about even like terminal illness, you talked about 66% of people who file bankruptcy, it's because of medical bills or medical reasons. Either they can't raise the money, they're unable to work, they become disabled, or they have a chronic or terminal condition. Guess what? Those policies, like Tracy said, you do not have to die to utilize your life insurance. You can use it while you're alive today. Like those RNs who are busting their butts and then suddenly have a diagnosis of cancer and they have to do 4 or 5 rounds of chemo and no longer able to work. Instead of you waiting to lose your home, if you had invested in a policy with a few hundreds a month that gives you so much, maybe $500,000 or $1 million, now you're getting income replacement every month to pay your mortgage, to pay for your children extracurricular activities, to enjoy life and really live. Because I think at the end, all of us are here trying to survive, trying to live and enjoy life. So
yes, that is so awesome. And I'm getting a lot of comments, different people saying different things. I have Jenny, she's saying fantastic topic. This is a godsend. Been thinking about this just a few days ago. So this is good information because it seems like a lot of people have questions, but people don't like to ask money questions. So a forum like this allows them to get information so that they can have a way of at least reaching out to someone where they can be able to ask their questions in private.
and I love that. And then I'm getting goosebumps hearing a God sent. I'm like, oh, that's so beautiful.
I know.
Alignment.
And then someone here said three very smart ladies. So
I saw that.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. And so, yeah, but this is really good information. And I know like it's so easy for people to talk about different things. Like someone will go and they'll talk about, what they're doing, their business or whatever, but people really don't like to talk about money or don't like to voice their questions because a lot of people don't understand so many different things when it comes to the financials, but also people feel like their question, it sounds like this could be a dumb question. I should be knowing this. And so they just act like they know, but they actually don't know. And one of the things is these things are not taught in school. We are taught how to do all these chemistry projects. We are taught how to dissect frogs, all those different things, but we are not taught to do things that can actually help us in life, like just planning or planning for the future or how to use money wisely, financial literacy. So some of those things are even things that I want to do even in the future with the Breaking Limitations Academy, to start teaching even like young girls and things like that. And so because the sooner we know, the better. Because by the time they become in their 20s, if they already know this stuff, then they know how to handle money properly. But if you're learning in your 30s, in your 40s, then you have so much to catch up, and you have to do so many things just to be able to get caught up.
So,
So
Joyce, they actually now have, my kids have little cards that you can put funds on. So, like their allowances, for example, and then they have like PIN numbers associated with these cards. So they can learn to start budgeting themselves. And actually, a lot of banks, I know Chase, Wells Fargo, Prosperity, they have teen checking accounts. So actually with teenagers, they can go in and open a normal bank account that their parent is on. They can't write checks, but they have normal debit cards. They can accept like different types of forms of payment, go through, fill out their deposit slips. It's just things that, you're right, they don't teach in school, but they are so important, way more important than dissecting a frog, because I may have cheated on that and not done that myself.
Oh, I almost threw up on that one, because I was like, oh my God, when they opened it up, I was like, I'm done.
All right, these girls are talking because they've not seen an open wound, obviously.
And
So that
you've seen an
dissecting,
open
so
heart.
it's dissecting a frog, like they are saying, it's very relevant to those who are going into the healthcare space, whether you're going to be doing sutures as an RN, or dissecting a heart or open heart surgery as a surgeon. But again, I hear the relevance in what you're trying to say. It's like, really, how is this going to help? And I was just actually writing something about that, Miss Amy, that you just spoke about. Thinking, reflecting back on how we were raised, even just primary school, which is elementary in America, and secondary school, or like high school and college, and even our professional training that we've had the specialty to grow in that space of, even as far as even an MBA program. There's really nothing there in that curriculum that is specific on making money. Right. So there's a lot of, or even keeping money. A lot of times it's about, you hear the noise about debt and things like that. But how did we get there? And why do we have so much debt? And what can we do to avoid all these situations and not really be a burden? And that's what I'm hearing Ms. Tracy saying, like, how can I help you? So you're not only worried that you're going to be a burden to yourself, but those who are in your charge, or those who are going to worry about you. That's exactly what insurance does, which is risk management, whether it is health. And Amy is going to slap me for this one. In 1997, as a brand new foreign student in Rockford, Illinois, I had a job, and I was qualified for benefits. And that's why I don't like to ask HR a lot of questions, to be honest, because they have no knowledge of what's the financial plan for you. And I'm not bashing them. I'm just saying that their specialty is completely different from managing money. So I say this to say, I was offered insurance, like as a young, I think I was 20 or 21. I was offered health insurance and life insurance and all these at the little health nursing home I worked. I said no, because I came from Kenya. Don't forget, in Kenya, you don't get sick. I was not sick. I am healthy. I don't even take vitamins. Number two, I said, well, I don't need life insurance because God brought me here. I'm not going to die. And do you know, I did not take that benefit for years until I finished, I think, LPN school, which was in 1998 or 99. Because by that, I'm talking to my uncles, I'm talking to people, and they're saying, oh, no. Take those benefits. They're good for you. You never know when you're going to get sick. So for those who are ignorant, you have a support group over here. I got you. But I think I say that to say I extend grace to you. For those who don't have something right now, don't feel late or don't feel left out, as long as you can take action. I refuse to say that knowledge is power. I am a believer that applied knowledge is power. You can read all day. You can read, you can search, you can go to LinkedIn, so Facebook, so Twitter, Instagram, everywhere. But if you don't actually take an action to make sure that Tracy Valero has a policy, Tracy Valero knows what retirement is going to look like, my health insurance is good, I know what is in my bank account, I know what's at risk exposed. If you actually don't take action for you, and it doesn't have to be very lavish or very extravagant or expensive, but really managing yourself, because that's leadership for you. That is really why we have a lot of problems, because people then say, well, the community is going to worry about me. That's wrong.
Yeah, and that's so true. And there are a lot of people like you who don't take benefits. When they go to an employer, they get their first job, and they're like, they're like, oh, no. they just see how much is taken out of their benefits and they go to HR and say, cancel all this stuff. I've seen so many people have done that. And then later on, they're looking for me. They say, oh, I had to be taken to the emergency room. Can I get health insurance? And when you're sick, there's no insurance company that wants to take you at that time. They don't want to pick up that tab. You need to have the benefit before so that if anything like that happens, then you can have the coverage.
Amen.
So it's a lot of things about mindset and just changing just our thought process of how people process information. And so I want to go to another topic that was this is a really hot topic because there are those people who maybe don't take health insurance, life insurance, and all that. Then we have this other group that they know, okay, yes, I'll look for Joyce, I'll get health insurance, and because they know that's important. But now when it comes to this other part for the money, they want to see their money in the bank. So we have people who have like thousands of dollars. They work 2-3 jobs. They are doing travel nursing. They're going all over the country, but they just want to see their money in the bank. How would you advise this person, Tracy? Because
so unfortunately, with all-time high inflation, at least higher or the highest level it's been in the last 40 years, when your money's in the bank, you're actually losing money every day because of the price of inflation. So if you look back 40 years ago, think about the cost of something simple, a loaf of bread, a thing of milk, a carton of eggs, whatever it is. Even the price difference of when my kids were babies to where we are now with, again, all-time high inflation. If you're just leaving your money in the bank and not taking advantage of the market or any sort of growth component, as Lena has mentioned, there's several things that you can invest in that you're not risking your principal. But also, the way that I build portfolios are so over the long term. It's a long-term game. It's a long time game. It's not the short game. If you want to play the short game, I'm not your girl. But if you're wanting your money to truly grow over time, then there are plenty of things that you can do aside from leaving it in the bank. Now, I am not saying by any means to take out every dollar that you have, or even every $1,000, or even every $10,000 and put it into one of these vehicles. I do not believe that that's the best avenue. You need to have something that I like to call pillow money, meaning that I'm laying my head down at night and I know that if my AC goes out or my car goes out or whatever it is, I get a phone call in the middle of the night or need to take my dog to the vet, that I do have funds in the bank that I can immediately access. So I'm going to bed every night and I know that that's there. No matter what's happening, I can get to that. But with the rest of it, and it's a different dollar figure for everyone, a good rule of thumb is to keep 6 months worth of your household bills in your liquid accounts, meaning your bank accounts. So aside from that, y'all think about the long game, because, you know, tomorrow's great, but what happens in 10 years and 20 years? Don't you want to retire?
Yeah, I would hope.
yes.
And just to add what Tracy just said, I think that's extremely important. I think, Miss Joyce, you can probably agree that most of us are raised in that banking. We are very comfortable with banking. We know that you put money in the bank, you put money in a savings account or a checking account. So I think there's also that cultural piece of, like, that's what people know, majority of the people. But even just in the United States, I've shared this in another video. When I did the myths of insurance, like in 2019, I did another one, I think in 2021, when I was telling people that the bank gives you 0.03% of your money from the savings account, whether you have 10,000 in there or $1, it's 0.03%. And if you think about it, even just money market accounts, it's 0.09, which is like 0.1%. It's not a lot, but you'll be shocked or surprised to realize that the wealthy really don't keep their money in the banks. It's in real estate, it's in mutual funds, it's in insurance, it's in these big vehicles that they use that they know very well that the asset is protected, but also it's growing no matter what. So I think that's very important. And just to let our audience know that the banking is what we know just because of our upbringing. But even just the financial sectors in the United States, there is banking, there is investment, there is Miss Tracy's specialty, which is advisory, or where financial advisors come. There's wealth management, which is what we are talking about, retirement, IRAs, 401k, 403b. There's mutual funds where teams come together and put money and try to invest it as a kind of a conservative manner. There's stocks, which everybody's talking about, and they're in the toilet right now. And then there's accounting, which is like taxation and CPAs and all that. But even in insurance, what people don't know is, I think what hurts us is that we don't know, but then we're not seeking to know. So what I would tell that person is, like Tracy said, keep your emergency fund 3 to 6 months, depending on how crazy that is. But also don't forget to put your money in a place where it is not only protected, but it is growing in compound interest. That bank of yours that you keep your 20K in there, they're putting it with our insurance company, and it is growing at 9% this year, but it can go from 4 to 12%. That 10 grand that you have at US Bank or Chase or whatever, they're using it at whether it's AIG or Transamerica or National Life, they're putting it in a cash value policy. And that is why you see the visions materialize, like McDonald's was built from cash value insurance. It has 30,000 franchises today. Do you know what they did? They took the money from cash value. The same thing I would say, that money, instead of sitting in the bank, put it in a vehicle where you can give birth to double, triple principal and interest over time. So don't limit yourself to only what you know. It goes back to our initial conversation of seek an expert, build that trust, because clearly it's about money is about relationships and trust. And then invest in vehicles, whether you want to use like the doubting Thomas, show me type of way, and then you can learn and grow.
Awesome. That's a really hot topic, because a lot of people ask that question. And so those are really good answers. And I'm sure a lot of people will be able to benefit from this session. And then I want to make sure we answer all the questions. We are limited on time, but so we have people who are also contributing towards their 401k, because of, that's like, for me, most of the time, I just knew about the 401k. That's how you contribute 401k, 403b. So even just thinking that there was even anything beyond that I didn't even know any of that. So there are people who are contributing towards their 401k or 403b, and they contribute the max that they can contribute, but they still have all this money left over. And so what are some of the options that they can also put the money and still feel safe? Because a lot of people want to know that it's safe.
So one thing that I see as a gap when I am building financial plans is that people put everything that they have to contribute in pre-tax accounts. So that's beautiful, and it gets to grow tax deferred. But keep in mind, tax deferred still means that Uncle Sam is going to get his money at some point. So when you start drawing that out in retirement, you actually have to pay taxes on it as you're drawing it out. And that can hurt you as far as your tax bracket in retirement. So one other avenue is to, aside from your 401k, take post-tax dollars, and you can still contribute into the market and into mutual funds and build sort of like an investment portfolio with post-tax dollars. And I'm going to throw the insurance part of it to Lena.
Okay, so I love that this is really cohesive in how it's going. She pretty much summed it up. It's like one of those things, like, don't put all your eggs in one basket. And that one basket called for a 1K or 403B that is tax deferred. They're saying today that the tax is about 13 to 15%. But when you and I retire, maybe 15, 20, 30 years from now, guess who's going to pay for the stimulus that was kind of stimulated last year? We are. And guess what? The economists, the study that I shared last month with Women History and Black History Month, I shared that the economists are saying that it's going to be 40 to 60%. So that's an average of 50% on your 401k. So if you're excited that you'll have 500,000, guess what? You'll probably have 250. But if you're making 100K a year, that is 2 years to live. I think sometimes what happens is we need to break it down to people on how their current lifestyle is. And as they get older, as an RN, I'll remind you that the pre-existing conditions show up, the blood pressure, the diabetes, the things that you never had suddenly show up as you get older. And yes, we must take care of our health because that's our wealth. But utilizing vehicles that allowed that money to grow exponentially so that at the end, you're not going to be taxed. I think it's important. If I was to advise someone, I would say, yes, keep some money in the bank because you need that access quickly for emergency fund. Keep some money, like Tracy said, in the other vehicles that are there, but also utilize other vehicles that give you more just from $1. And I'm talking about like the noise that you're seeing on Instagram or TikTok about IULs, indexed universal life plans. That's like people, it's almost like people just suddenly fell on the insurance thing we've been screaming about for years. And suddenly they're like, oh my God, I didn't know that works. I was listening to Grant Cardone, the real estate mogul who has 7,000 apartments in Texas and 4,000, I don't know, somewhere, and saying, I didn't know about this. I wish I knew about it. It's really, that cash value grows so quickly and it's protected from the IRS because it's not considered an investment. It's considered a protection. So you don't have to pay taxes on it. Guess what? Our people just need to know that you don't have to be rich to utilize these vehicles. You just have to be smart and seek the right guidance. That way you're not making the wrong decisions that are pulling you backwards instead of moving forward. So yes, many resources. Sorry.
No, that's good. And I would say really working with a professional because, you know, the do-it-yourselfers are great. The ones that want to buy the Coca-Cola stock or the hottest GameStop stock or whatever is super cool that I can't tell you what it is. But that's fine and dandy. But have someone, if it's me, if it's someone else, it's someone you know, like, trust, and you're comfortable with, that can put a plan together, that I would partner with someone like Lena or, you know, whatever it looks like to build a holistic plan for you, not an investment vehicle.
And I love how you say that because I think that's the gap that is there. So I don't want to take all the time, but I want to give Miss Joyce time to ask another question.
Yeah, but this is really good information. I do have someone who's asking what's the best for retirement. I already have life and health, but want to venture into another one for retirement. And I think with that question, maybe she needs to reach out to you guys for one-on-one. So Laura, thank you for that question. I think it would be best if you can reach out to them one-on-one so they can be able to give you guidance based on what it is that you're trying to accomplish for your retirement. And we'll also have their phone numbers and their websites written down. And also at the end, they'll be able to give us all that information and you'll be able to reach out to them individually and you can be able to ask all those questions. So a couple more questions. Let me see here. What would you recommend first for someone? Should someone save for retirement or should they get out of debt first?
Both.
Sometimes people are told, okay, start saving for this, regardless, the debt will always be there. Then other times you're told, okay, save, just come out of debt first, then start saving for retirement.
Right. So the caveat to that is if you are an employee for a company that does an employer match to your 401k and you do not participate in that, then you probably are leaving money on the table. You're literally walking away from free money. So I would never advise to walk away from free money.
No, that's beautiful. And I think you said it beautifully. That's exactly what I tell all my clients. They'll come in and tell you, I say, if they're matching, do it to the match. Don't do any more. That's good enough. Just do it to the match because you don't want to throw away money. But I think the question you said about what's better, debt or saving, I think like Tracy said, I would also reiterate, do both because there are vehicles that are going to, you don't have to save a lot of money if you have a lot of debt. It's really being, like you said, speaking to an expert to show you this is how much, and if you did this, this is what the result would look like. So there's always a difference between debt elimination and debt management. So you just have to be really intentional in what is it that you're trying to do and what is it that you're trying to eliminate or manage as you grow. But again, do both.
Yeah, so guys, I hope you are listening because this is some really good information. And just, you guys have answered so many of the questions that people have been asking and people have been sending in. So I just want to make sure we get all the we get all the questions. Jamie, if there are any other questions, do we have any questions in YouTube by any chance? I just want to see if we have any questions. So one of the questions was, why is insurance important when it comes to planning your financials? And Tracy, could you give us a little bit of that? Why is insurance important? Because I think sometimes people just, and I've met people who are making lots of money, so they want just they just want to keep saving and making money, and they say that they don't get insurance because they feel like if anything happens, I can pay everything cash. And then especially when it comes to health insurance, because people feel like, I'm so healthy, I don't need to spend $500 paying for insurance, and yet I can just save it, and then if something happens, I can take all that money and just pay for
Well,
whatever happens. Mhm.
one of the biggest what ifs that I plan for in my financial planning is, what if something happens to me? What if I lose some of my cognitive abilities? What if I break my hip? Or what if I get cancer?
Right.
So those are things that can take a really healthy financial plan and ruin you, because you think that you can self fund. And that sounds really great theoretically. But y'all, nursing home care could cost around $20,000 a month. And I promise you that none of you would be interested in going into any sort of Medicaid facility that's located in Texas. So, and do not do that to your loved ones.
I totally agree. Not that, don't come to one in Minnesota, because trust me, they're not any different. But I would say, why is that important? I was actually reading something when you sent me the questions yesterday, and I was very surprised to realize that 80% of Americans believe that financial planning should include insurance. I was shocked because I'm not sure if that number is accurate, because 46% of Americans do not have life insurance, yet 80% feel it's necessary to discuss and include in the financial planning. So then the question becomes, where's the gap and who are we missing, or why are they not having it? Which brings me to what exactly Tracy said. So since she already told you the importance of having it because of the what if, or what would happen to me, disease, disability, death, whatever that can occur to any of us, I would tell you one thing. There was a nurse that I worked with for years. I'm going to make it 1 minute. She had everything in place. She had health insurance. And as RNs, we have great insurance from the hospital that we worked in. She had life insurance, which is the child life and spouse life added to the benefits of HR. Miss Joyce, you know how that goes. And then you can always add and supplement that group term insurance, because if you add more money, you can get like up to 500 or up to your salary, depending on what you have. She had a 401k. And in Minnesota, if you're part of the union, you have a pension. RNs have a pension that comes with it. So I feel like she had everything in place to do. And with the 401k at work, we had those benefits experts like financial planners that come through and tell you, let's put in the T here and put that here. So she had everything in place, but she had 5 years to retire at age 60. She used to have migraines because she worked a lot. Talk about that time that we are busy and you're trying to make money. She came down with a lot of migraines, went to the U of M, was diagnosed with brain cancer.
Oh,
Just
no.
suddenly. Now, remember, she has everything in place that we talked about. But what she didn't have was that what she didn't know was 3 months later, she's going through chemo and radiation 4 or 5 times a week. She had a beautiful home in the suburb that was almost paid off. She's almost retiring in 5 years. But because of the demands of not working and the FMLA protocol and policies that you guys are aware, in 6 months, you're not working, you're out. That's exactly what happens to your benefits. Every employer is not going to carry your burden because you're no longer producing for them. They let her go. So guess what? She had to sell her house to fund her treatment, her chemo and radiation. She now ran out of that and moved to a smaller apartment. And after 2 years of that struggle and strife, she passed away. That's not the way to live. You look at the comparison of the Melissa that I just shared, who had the 9-month policy of living benefits. That $500 policy allowed the husband to quit his lawyer job so they could take care of the children. And I'm painting that picture to show people that why is insurance part of your financial planning is it doesn't matter if you're making 6 figures from your business, home care, staffing, or tracking. If something happens just like that, when that 100,000 is not coming in every month, you don't know how much it's going to cost you. That's why you have that risk management to cushion and give you that, not when you're dead, but when you're living and you need to manage your income and things like that. So yes, people need to learn, and there's so many resources for all of us.
Well, and I think if you go back to everything that we've been saying all night, it's about diversification. It's
Correct.
about having a portfolio that contains not just mutual funds, not just stocks, not just bonds, not just insurance, but a little bit of everything, so that no matter what's going on in the market and the economy and with your health and with your life, then you're protected in some way or another.
That's correct.
Awesome, man. I am really enjoying this, but it's been an hour, so we have to end. But thank you, ladies, so much for all the wisdom that you have given us. So such good information, and I know people will be reaching out to you. And so if we could start with you, Tracy. Just let people know where they can find you and how they can contact you if they have any questions and all that.
Yeah, so my office phone number is 713-588-0136. Email is tracy@sapphireinvestmentservices.com. And y'all, find me on Facebook. It's just Tracy Valero. My picture's there. And I try to do weekly commentaries to let you know what's going on in the market, what the heck is going on with inflation, and do not sell in May and go away, things like that. So
Awesome. And just tell them your website too.
SapphireInvestmentServices.com.
Okay. And guys, so we have a website there, and then also we have the email address and the phone number. And so feel free to reach out to Tracy if you have any questions, or if you just, if you're confused about something and you need a plan in place, just go ahead and reach out to her, and she'll be able to assist you in any way possible. And then also go ahead, Lena, give them your information.
Yes, Lena Nyamoya, you can reach me at my number that is on the screen, 763-232-9175. You can visit our website. There's always a contact form at the end. I do a lot of different things. As you know, I speak, I train, I lead. But with the financial services, you can reach there. You can click on the tab and connect with us. There's a calendar, reserve a call, and we do free financial education, and we do free consulting on your policies as well, so that you're not left stranded in case you need it and you didn't realize it only covered accidental, not anything to do with COVID or malaria or cancer. So I think it's important for you to have the right tool to serve you how you want. And I love, like I would add to say, for my calendar, I think you can reach out to Amy. She's going to have this video is going to be up anyway. So you can always find the boldimpactgroup.com on there. But if you need a personal call, I'll be more than happy to find me on Facebook, Lena Nyamoya the wall and Lena Nyamoya the page. I have several videos there to educate you and really utilize the resources you have. Honestly, there's so much for us to break those generational curses and build generational wealth, because we do have the tools and resources.
Awesome. Thank you, ladies, so much for this awesome opportunity just to share all the wisdom. And guys, as you all know, Breaking Limitations, our mission is to empower, to equip, and to promote. And so we always want to be able to give you information that you can be able to use. We all want you to be able to be connected to people maybe you won't have access to, and so that you can be able to live a life that is full without and so that you can be able to break any limitations in your life. And when it comes to money, I know money is a big deal, especially in this season, and so we want to make sure that you're equipped so you can be able to make those right decisions. And of course, if you ever need any type of health insurance, you call the Insurance Princess, and I will be there. You can visit my website at www.joycemarendez.com, and I'll be able to help you with any questions you have when it comes to life insurance, for most of you who've listened to me before, you already know I've had like 15 years experience in the HR world, focusing on benefits. And that's why I'm so passionate about it, because I know that it makes a difference in families. It makes a difference in people's lives when you have health insurance. And I've seen the devastation that can happen when you don't have it. So don't take this information for granted. Make sure you share it in your different groups, in your WhatsApp groups, share it with your family members, and also tag people so that they can be able to watch the replay, because I know a lot of people wanted to watch it. A lot of people will watch it even from different countries. Just take time and watch it. And if you have any questions, just reach out to us. So guys, again, thank you so much, Tracy and Lena, for coming to the show, agreeing to be here today. And I hope this will not be your last time, because we need to have a part 2 with because I know there'll be more questions and more people reaching out. So other than that, guys, thank you for being here. Thank you guys in the audience for logging in. I see several people who logged in. I see Jenny, I see Laura, I see Latosha, I see Nancy. Guys, thank you so much for logging in. And of course, make sure if you've not subscribed to my YouTube channel, be sure to subscribe. It's Joyce, Breaking Limitations with Joyce Marendez. And then the information is there on the screen. And then also when it comes to my page, it's my Facebook page is also Breaking Limitations with Joyce Marendez. And that's where we are having this session. Make sure you are following us, because we're going to be having a lot of different things going on this year. Last year, we spent a lot of time just showing you what a life of, like when you break limitations, how your life would look like. But this year, we want to give you the steps on how to do it. So you're going to hear more from us, getting to hear more about Breaking Limitations Academy. And then also in the summer, we're going to do some things with the young girls and just teaching them how to become financially serviced. So guys, thank you so much. And ladies, don't log out. We're going to be in the back room for a little bit. And guys, thank you so much for logging in. Have a wonderful, wonderful evening. And we're going to see you soon.
All right. Thank you so much for having us.
Thank y'all.
Bye. Mm-hmm.
Sauti Contact Center is a multi-channel contact center with expert agents set up to provide your customers with an excellent experience. We save you money and time, enabling you to focus on other critical parts of your business, whether it's receiving and making calls, web chat, WhatsApp support. We help your business generate leads, increase sales, and improve the customer experience. Visit us online at sauti.cc and we look forward to serving you.